and welcome back to Let's Talk Autism. We are joined now by neuropsychologist Dr. Amy Serin. Dr. Serin co-founded the Touchpoint solution in late 2015 with the mission of bringing relief to those who suffer from anxiety and stress. And over the last decade, Dr. Serin's work in therapy and neuroscience led to the discovery that a component of successful PTSD treatment could be used as a standalone product for a range of individuals who have stress and anxiety. The product was a powerful treatment, too powerful to be confined to doctors' offices. So she worked with her partner, Vicki Mayo, to bring Buzzies to the world. Welcome to the show, Dr. Amy.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, good to have you here. Buzzies. Tell us exactly what Buzzies are.
All right. Well, first thing to cover is that we actually are changing our name. There's some confusion with the name Buzzies for some reason, and people thought that that what we have was actually shocking people because of the name, or that it would be too loud to use in a classroom. So I will be referring these as Touchpoints today,
okay.
And I might slip up and say Buzzies, but we are shifting the name just because consumers were getting a little bit confused. But these are Touchpoints, and they have a technology inside them called bilateral alternating stimulation in tactile form. This is a similar technology to what's been used in therapies like EMDR and tapping therapies, and therapies that typically work better for certain conditions like PTSD or anxiety or phobias. Some treatments work better than traditional treatments, and people don't really know that when we add some things that are kind of interfere with what we call the somatosensory cortex, we actually can reduce in real time the brain stress response. Okay, now there's a couple rules to using these. One is that you have to have two, and two come in a kit, and they have to be one on one side of the body and one on the other. And what they do is they help the brain make a different decision about the stress response. And so for people with autism, the issue is that even simple changes in the environment, like sensory issues, for example, the brain will choose to put the body into a state of heightened nervous system, fight or flight, anxiety. This is happening so often in children and adults with autism. So this is kind of a stress hack. And this is a way to move their brains back into a calm state without them having to do anything or change the sensory environment around them.
Okay, so how do they wear the Buzzies? Explain how that works.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways. The Touchpoints will work no matter where they are on the body. So they do come in these discs here, okay? And what I'm doing is I'm pulling off a clip, and they also come with clips. So you can put these discs in your pockets, one on each side of the body, in socks. They don't have to be touching the skin to work, okay? Or you can add the clip, and I don't know if this will show up on camera, but see this clip right here?
Yes, we can see
that
it.
I just slid off?
Uh-huh.
We have these clips to make it easy. So you can clip them on to your clothing, one on one side of the body, one on the other. So typically when I'm doing interviews like this, if I have a belt on my dress, I'll clip it to the belt, or I'll put them in my pockets, or you can hold them in your hands. We also have watch bands, and they will fit. We have adapters that come in the kit that will fit any standard watch band. And there's also watch bands for sale on a site called Buzzies, buzziesbands.com. And you can buy cool colors and things like that. And so people can actually wear them on their wrists.
Okay, so you got them, and we just saw a picture that Samantha showed too, that you sync this up in some way with your phone, maybe?
Yeah, so there's an free app that anybody can download, and I will pull mine up right here. So if you can, it's the app, and the app has controls on it. So you control the frequency, the intensity, and the overlap, so that basically, especially with kids with autism, they're very sensory sensitive or sensory avoidant in many cases. So some of them like it very, very low intensity, just a very, very gentle vibration. And some of them like it a little bit more intensive vibration. So we can play with that in a way that they respond to better. But the entire range of what's available on the app will work to help calm the body down.
And it is a vibration that happens.
It is a vibration. It's non-invasive. And this is why we had to change the name. People were like, what are you doing? Are you sending? How does this work? Because I think people think we have to do a lot to manage stress. And really, when you understand the brain works, you just need to interfere with one network that's a non-conscious network, and that's the network that's deciding what to do with the stress response. And you can do that with gentle vibrations, but they have to be very specifically calibrated, and there's some tricks and some trade secrets as to exactly how that works. But
And
when
so
you
does
do that,
can I interrupt
you
you for
start
just
to
one
look-
second? So how does the app tell it when to vibrate?
it doesn't tell it when to vibrate yet. That's going to be a next generation product. It's not reading anything from the body. What it's doing is it's just the external control. So you control when you turn them on and when you turn them off.
So if
And
you're
that's a
feeling
decision that you-
stress,
Mhm.
you tap the thing on your phone and it gives you a gentle vibration, and that helps to calm you down.
Right. And
Cool.
we just had statistics come in from about 1,100 of our users, and I had no control over this data. It wasn't a study, but it's just when they get the app, it asks them how stressed out they feel, and then after 30 seconds, it asks them again. And from those entries, showed a 71% reduction in stress in 30 seconds.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
And those
Now,
are from actual people that just bought the product and used it and entered in their numbers. We got that all in an Excel spreadsheet. We ran the data, and we had it checked by Midwestern University, and they came up with the same results.
why does it have to be worn on the right and left side of the body? Just curious.
It's a good question, isn't it? It's because of the way the somatosensory cortex is organized. We have what we call contralateral organization of the brain, and if you're just doing something on one side of the brain, it doesn't interfere enough with the network's decision to lower the stress response, so it has to be on both sides of the body. It also has to be alternating. It can't be like a TENS unit, goes like this, and it's the same at the same time on both sides of the body. That actually won't produce the same effect.
Okay. And it has pre-settings for different things for sleep?
Yes,
And,
there are pre-settings for focus, anger, calm, performance, and cravings. And cravings, I get a lot of questions about the cravings, like how would this change somebody's cravings? And the answer is that when you're stressed out, our bodies are always just like when you're thirsty, right? Your brain signals, get a drink, get a drink, get a drink. And when you're stressed out, your brain is signaling, do something to calm yourself down, do something to calm yourself down. And a lot of times that could be eating things like chocolate or drinking wine or doing some things that maybe have long-term consequences that we don't want to go to, but that relieve our stress in the moment. And so being calm, you won't have as many cravings for the things that you're doing to try to calm yourself down that might have consequences.
okay.
Okay,
Makes
and
sense.
we should note that you're not suggesting that this is something that would take the place of therapy for individuals with autism, but something to be used in conjunction with. Is that correct?
Yes. This is not a cure for any medical or mental condition, but what it does is it seems to help lower the stress response and get people into a calmer baseline so that certain things can happen. So if you're in a therapy and the sensory environment, you're going into sensory overload, having these on can, in many cases, prevent that, and then you can get more out of that therapeutic session. Or if somebody's having a hard time going to sleep, and you put the Touchpoints on, this will help someone go into the right state to be able to sleep, because we all have those nights we're tossing and turning, we're stressed out, we can't get those automatic thoughts to stop. And if we put these on, this will help us go into a calmer state and we'll be able to sleep.
So I think the big important thing here is, how do we get them?
Yeah, where?
Well, they are only available online right now. And we're transitioning from Buzzies, so the URL still works. You can go to buzzies.com or you can go to ilovetouchpoint.com, and it'll route you to the same website and order them online.
And when it's buzzies.com, we need to specify that it's BUZZIES.com. That's on the screen right now. But for those of you listening on iTunes, BUZZIES.com.
And in terms of the cost, let's just talk about that for a minute. How much do they cost?
They're $240 for the set. And
Okay.
the set comes, I have boxes, I think they're taped shut. So you'll get a box here, and you'll get 2 Buzzies, and you'll also get a charger. And the charger is a standard Android charger, so if you have a Samsung phone, you can also use that to charge them. But it's got a splitter cable on it, and you can charge them both at once.
Okay.
It also comes with a plug, and then the clips and the adapter for the watch bands. And then the watch bands you can purchase optimally if that's the way you want to wear them.
And you do offer financial aid for some
Yes.
people, right? You have
Yes, we
scholarships.
do. We have actually given away over $70,000 in scholarships.
Okay.
And so there is a scholarship program that people can apply to online.
Mhm.
And for those, obviously we can't give scholarships to everybody. We get thousands of these requests on a monthly basis for scholarships. So if somebody doesn't get a scholarship, we can support them in getting a crowdfunding campaign going so that they can crowdfund their touch points and then receive them that way.
Okay.
Remarkable. And since we have you here, Dr. Serin, briefly before we came live, we were talking with you about PTSD. And I think that a lot of our parents out there have some form of PTSD. And so you had said something I thought very profound about how treatable PTSD is. And I wondered if you could share with us a little bit about your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I think that we really are stuck in a paradigm now where people are thinking that certain things have to be lifelong conditions, and they don't. If there's an onset of PTSD, there can be an offset of PTSD in many cases. And the statistics are really staggering when you're doing the right kinds of therapies, just how treatable things are. Once you understand how PTSD is kind of a tripwiring of your fear system, you can untrip that. Now, depending on how long somebody's had it and what precipitated it and what other factors are going on, it depends on how long treatment is. But I would say for people with PTSD to seek therapies like neurofeedback or eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and know that there is some relief for that. And certainly touch points can offer relief in real time, but they're not going to cure PTSD.
Okay. Well, I'm certainly encouraging to hear that how treatable that it is.
And it's definitely, a valuable tool for children and adults with autism, obviously.
It is, and I'll tell you, one of the number one questions we get from the parents of children with autism is, they're nervous. Their nervous systems are really heightened because they have a child that's, unpredictable and that has a lot of stress and anxiety, and there's a lot of complicating factors in, parenting a child. And it's very heartwarming to see all of the progress, and there's some beautiful, wonderful things about it, but it is very, very stressful. So the question I get from parents is, well, what if my child doesn't like them? And that can happen every once in a while when if they introduce these, a new stimulus, and then the child, throws it, let's say. And it's just kind of going into a movie theater where you go in and it feels really loud, but then you will adjust over time. So what we say to those parents is just give it a little bit of time or try it again. And if in the worst case scenario, there's only a few cases of this, but the child really does not like and can't tolerate the sensation, those parents still need the touch points because of what they're dealing with.
Right. So the parent can use it.
Yeah, I would encourage the parents to, a lot of the parents take care of themselves last.
Right.
But when you're on an airplane, you've got to put that oxygen mask on first. Otherwise, you're useless to help everybody else. And so we're really encouraging the parents to think about stress relief for themselves, not just for their children, so that everybody's lives can be improved.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Buzzies.com,
Right.
Buzzies.com, or I love Touchpoint.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Serin.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all that you do.